If you're looking for the highest quality, pure Texas trophy whitetail deer available, you got to start with pure Texas trophy bloodlines. Hi, I'm Jay Reichert with Stockerbuck.com. We've been breeding deer almost 10 years. We're a fully certified Texas Animal Health herd, which means we're monitored for CWD. Also, we're Texas Parks and Wildlife TC1 and movement qualified, which basically means we've done everything you can do to produce some of the highest quality trophy bred whitetail deer available. Our standard customer fits about one of three categories. It's either a guy that's got a big ranch with a high fence around it. In Texas, you have to have a high fence to be able to stock a ranch. So it's a rancher that just wants to improve the genetics of his ranch, so he'll buy deer from us. We also sell deer very heavily to the breeder market. There's over 1,300 deer breeders in the state of Texas. And then there's also the hunt ranch. They buy deer that we call Stockerbucks, hence the name Stockerbuck.com. We stock your ranch, and they then use those deer. They buy them at 2, 3, or 4 years old, and they use those deer to improve the genetics on their ranch and hunt them as they get a little bit older. Tonight is one day a year that we generally pull semen on some of our trophy breeder bucks. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up some dart guns with the right chemicals to knock deer down, and we're going to pull or draw semen on them, and hopefully we have a pretty smooth process. Well, the way the drug and darting process works, when we knock down a deer, we basically sneak up on them, get as close as we can, and then we shoot them usually in the rear hip or front shoulder neck area with a tranquilizer dart. It then takes 6 to 8 minutes for that dart to go in, for the drug to go into the deer's system and take effect. And it's designed to totally knock the deer out to a point where we're able to do, let's call it, just about any kind of surgery you want to do on that deer. So basically what we have here is darts. They're fake, and so they're weighted. So this dart here has the same weight as a 3cc liquid-filled dart. Here's a 4cc liquid-filled dart. You can see we got smaller, 1cc, or 2cc. And so we decide, hey, how much chemical we're gonna shoot that night into what size animal. The bigger the animal, the more juice it takes. Key to this is to hit the animal as softly as possible so you don't do any internal damage or bruising. And you want the dart to almost lob in and just stick them. Now you gotta shoot flat and hard to get it there, but you don't wanna shoot to the point where it buries the dart inside the deer 2.5 inches. And a lot of people think that when you dart somebody, you just walk up, shoot the gun hard, and the dart sticks in the animal and you win. And the whole key is you want to hit the animal super, super soft. So we put the dart in the front of the gun, we cock it, we load it here, and then we can change the setting on the back of the gun right here for how much air pressure we want to go down the barrel pushing the dart. On a 3cc dart, we're going to try 2. And so then we try to practice the distance we want to get to the deer tonight right here in the field, and shoot a couple practice darts and just make sure it's hitting where we want it to hit. And so tonight, when we go dart the deer, the trick is to get this same distance from the deer, not further, not closer, so we know how hard the dart's gonna hit and where it's gonna hit in the trajectory. All right, and let's go see where it hit. Now what I see there is that dart dropped off a little more. And so you gotta kind of just gauge how much pressure you put behind it and where it's gonna hit. Okay, I was aiming basically right here, and you see that dart hit 1 inch low. All right, so that's what we're trying to do with these things. I just want to be anywhere near that circle, and we're pretty much good enough for hand grenades and horseshoes. Our goal for tonight is we're going to knock down somewhere between 2 and 3 of our biggest bucks, and we're going to draw semen from them. We're then going to have a vet show up that will actually handle that transaction for us, and then they'll draw it up into straws, which are 1/2 cc or 1/4 cc straws, and then they freeze them, and then we'll use that for the artificial insemination process and for this year's breeding process. And a lot of times people ask me, how do you get semen out of a big trophy whitetail buck? So the other night, I said, let's bring a camera along and see what happens. So that's what we did. So the first deer we're gonna dart tonight is an 8x8 buck, beautiful 2-year-old. And then the second deer we're gonna do is Ballistic Junior. He's also a 2-year-old in that same pen, super long tine deer. I expect the 8x8s probably will also score them with the Boone and Crockett scoring system for a gross score. I expect that first deer to score somewhere around 200 at 2 years old. And I think BJ, Ballistic Junior, is probably gonna score somewhere in the 180s. Okay, there's the 8x right there, okay? Y'all stay here. dart petered. Did you see that? So we've just shot our first deer. The dart petered out of the gun. For some reason the gun didn't fire right, which happens sometimes. Either the cartridge in the gun doesn't have enough powder in it, it's a factory problem or something like that, or a problem with the gun. But anyway, the dart petered out of the gun, hitting real low on the leg. Now this is worst case scenario. You do not want this to happen. And this is why I, as a deer breeder, fear the nights when we are gonna draw semen on our big bucks. You know, you got a deer here that's a breeder quality deer. These deer, you know, if you were to sell them, would be $100,000 to $300,000. It's not from you. The dart broke his leg. Y'all stay here. Oh, that dart petered. Did you see that? If it got any meat at all, he'll still go down. If it didn't get any meat, then we'll hit him again. That's the problem when you shoot on one, man. It's like, you never know what it's gonna do. I hate when that happens. That was a good shot too. It doesn't get any better static shot than that, huh? Anyway, welcome to the deer business. There's the 8x right there. I think you can see the spot where the dart hit him. Low on the leg there. He's licking it right now. And the other deer is licking him. We'll take the fence line. So this front pen here is about 9 acres, and I prefer for them to fall down in this pen. They're easier to find. They all walked up to the food trough, so we're hoping that 8x8 just goes up there and lays down here in a second. He's not showing any sign of any drug. He's limping a little on that right rear leg. The dart petered out of the gun and just dropped low. Do you think I should just hit him with another dart? Yeah, roger that. So this is what we call pen hunting. It's where you actually hunt for the deer you darted late at night in a dart pen. There's the 8x right there. I'm right on him. He looks pretty good. Stop, stop, stop. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Perfect. That was a good hit. We'll take that, huh? That was as good as he gets. Okay, I hit the 8x8 on the left hip. In case he starts going down, we don't want him like, see how he's, I think that's him right there. Yeah, with a head low. And I don't want the other deer spearing him. So we're gonna go pushing him off and see what happens. Spread him out a little. What happened, dude?
Like I went to ease him down, and when he went down, it just snapped right here.
It's not from you. The dart broke his leg. It's where the dart hit the bone. That ain't from you, dude. That ain't from you. Don't feel bad. Man, deer business is tough. That's me, dude. That's when that dart failed out of the gun. Look at that. That's right where it hit. I'm telling you, those darts, they break bones. Unbelievable. So let's put him on a stretcher. We're pulling semen while he's still alive, and then we'll figure out what we do with the leg. But, you know, that's the only It's the only proof we got. We can still breed with him. He ain't dead yet. But unfortunately, could be a terrible end to a great deer. And Edgar, that is not your fault at all. I'm telling you, that's where that dart hit. You can see the dart, right? That's right where the dart hit. I knew it hit low right there on the leg. And that's what happens when these darts hit bone, man. Let's try to be as friendly to him as we can. We'll ask Gorley if there's something we can possibly do. I doubt it, but 1, 2, 3. Don't worry about the leg, just moving. 1, 3. Okay, let's yeah. I think you did. I leave it on there. Let's go run this deer up to the barn. We'll come back on BJ, okay? Everybody get on. Okay, deer number 1 is coming to you, Doc, and it has an issue, but it's out cold. There's BJ right there. What happened, dude?
Like I went to ease him down, and when he went down, it just snapped right here.
It's not from you. The dart broke his leg. Okay, deer number 1 is coming to you, Doc, and it has an issue, but it's out cold. We did hurt the leg on the 8x8 buck. It's probably what I would call one of the worst days of your life when you hurt one of your bucks. The dart hit pretty low. Turned out it fractured the broke his lower right leg. So basically what we did is we then moved him to a quarantine pen. We also took some x-rays to see how bad the break was and if there was a chance we might insert a pin and screw the bone back together to help the healing process go a lot faster. Turned out on this deer, the way the leg was broken, there really wasn't much to attach to as far as could we pin the leg or something like that. So this deer will heal on his own. We moved him to a quarantine pen, and he'll get about 30 days in a quarantine pen till his bone heals big enough and well enough that we can put him back in with the other bucks. There's BJ right there. He was a good shot though, man. That dart went off good on his ass. The dart was perfect. It was a perfect hit right in the rear hip. Everything went textbook on this one. I think that's BJ right there. Yeah, see, he's not even taking a bad step yet.
He's taking like light steps though.
Yeah, he's creeping. Come on, BJ, let's go down. Definitely, he's a little woozy now. He's standing a little more. That's what we want. BJ's funny. Every time I put the light on him, he'll walk. Watch, see him right there? Now he'll stop. Now watch this. Light, and he'll start walking. Yeah, now he stands there, wouldn't you know? That's funny. Yeah, he's going down, look. And BJ's laying down, so let's leave him there. Let's back out of here. Because he's nice and safe right there. Okay, lay it down right behind him. Okay, ready? Hang on. Okay. On three. 1, 2, 3. Sarah Reichert, do you copy? I don't know why we're having so much radio trouble tonight. Put the legs outward, spin around. Okay, ready? All right, somebody ride on the back. Here we go. As a deer breeder, you get to where each deer has its own individual personality, things and traits and characteristics you like about those deer. And I believe, as deer breeders, when we put these deer in a pen complex, it's not like putting cattle in a pen. Cattle were kind of bred to be put in a pen. Deer are not. They're a wild animal. They don't do as well in pens as other animals. So when we put them in a pen, we have an extra duty to take care of those animals. And when they get hurt, we got to do whatever it takes doctoring-wise to try to bring that animal back to health. And so we expend just any amount of energy we can when it comes to deer health and things like that. The opposite side of the coin is also true. A healthy deer doesn't need a whole lot. So, you know, we try not to touch them at all if we don't have to. But if a deer gets sick, we're going to give them the right drug to help them out. Well, the drawing of the semen, that procedure, is probably your worst nightmare. Basically, we do it the same way they do on cattle. We get a very small amount of ejaculate material, and we then capture that in a little vial, beaker, whatever you want to call it, and then we're able to break it down and look at it with microscopes and that kind of stuff, and do what we call is sort the semen. And then the next step after sorting it is freezing it. And they use liquid nitrogen, freeze that semen, and then from that point on, it's able to be stored forever till you're ready to use it. Here at Stockerbuck, we collect only the highest quality semen. We guarantee it and we DNA certify it. We also have the ability to sex that semen, which means you can choose the sex of the offspring, male or female. G3, 11.5, and he's got a 1-inch little kicker on it. G4, 8 3/4. While we knock these deer out and we have them laying there on the table, one of the funnest things for us is to go ahead and score the deer. So we'll take all the Boone and Crockett length, width, height measurements and what we call mass scores of the antlers, and we'll produce a total gross number, which is really just a total addition of all the length and tines and the circumferences. You get 4 of those on each side of the beam, and then we get a total beam length on the deer also. And we'll add up that score to get what we call a Boone and Crockett gross score. And that's really how we tell people how big your deer is, and it's kind of a standard in the industry. So we'll put the deer back on the stretcher, drive it back to the pen it came out of, and set them down right there. That'll be good. Couldn't get this off of them so we don't forget. So here's what I do when I'm dumping them off the thing. I'll block this with my left foot, and then I'll just pick the stretcher up and lift up on the head a little, and they'll slide right off. Like butter. We have about 45 minutes that a deer will stay, sleepy or knocked out or drugged till the drugs start wearing off. So once we're ready to revive the deer, we also have some special chemicals that are used to turn off the first drug. And so they actually go into the receptors in the brain, turn off the brain's ability to see that first drug, and then the deer just wakes right up. It's really pretty neat, actually. The hunting industry is under a lot of pressure these days. And one thing I'd like to talk about as an actual deer breeder is the value that we give these animals. People don't realize it, but after 1945 and after World War II, those kind of time frames, Texas was almost devoid of deer, and that's because cattle was rationed, and during the war, people ate venison. They went out, they shot a deer and took it home and ate it. Well, after doing that for, 5, 8, 10 years, there wasn't very many deer left in the state of Texas. Almost every deer in the state of Texas came from a repopulated program through Texas Parks and Wildlife, which is pretty neat. Deer are one of the most prolific species around. And as the next 30, 40 years and really good deer management went on, hunting management, a good program from Texas Parks and Wildlife for controlling the hunt seasons in specific counties and across the state, all of a sudden, you know, there's 4.5 million deer in the state of Texas. The annual hunter harvest is about 650,000 deer a year in Texas alone. So it's pretty neat how the hunting has increased the economy, it's given the deer a value, and it's allowed the deer population of Texas to thrive.